Good morning, girly girls. You ready to get out and play? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good morning, friends and family. It is a very strange looking sky this morning. In spite of that, we are going to have one of the hottest days ever. And we're not forecast to get rain until this evening. So let's get our day started. Good morning again, y'all. Welcome to today's edition of the Wellness Homesteader. So I have a question for you. At this point in harvest season, are you completely sick of trying to come up with new ways to eat fresh and new recipes that aren't just your typical raw sliced cucumbers or tomato slices or perhaps some zucchini bread? I know that I have a tendency to get tired, but I want to share with you, and y'all, you can't still get this, but it's Better Homes and Gardens Veggie Full, and I was gifted this magazine. This is from 2022, probably summer, I'm guessing. And this magazine is really great because it goes through typical things we're harvesting at this point in time that you might be overloaded with. And even if you're not growing and harvesting, it's always good to have some go-to recipes. Sorry about throwing things, y'all. So, y'all, I have all the cherry tomatoes right here. Let me grab a couple knives here. You know, y'all know I can't have everything out, right? Over here I have some cucumbers, and y'all just excuse the mess. I have been harvesting and gifting and preserving and freeze drying and doing all the things, but I'd like to continue to eat fresh veg. And of course, these tomatoes, I have washed everything in my Young Living Thieves Veggie Fruit Wash. And so the first thing I'm going to do is we are going to make a cucumber mint salad. And if y'all are wondering what on earth cherry tomatoes do you have, let me just share with you. These are orange sugar bomb, I think they're called. And these, I'm not sure what they're called. So my son actually saved seeds for me, and I planted those, if you remember, long-term watchers, and my goodness gracious, they have grown like crazy. So I'm also going to be, y'all, let me turn that fan off, it's making so much noise. Okay, that's better. I'm also going to be freeze drying some cherry tomatoes. So what this recipe actually calls for is, wait for it, 3 medium cucumbers and 4 pints of halved cherry tomatoes. However, let me say this, I think they're crazy. 3 little cucumbers and 4 pints of tomatoes is going to be a tomato salad, and this is supposed to be a mixed type salad. So I'm just chopping them all in half like this. So pretty. So I'm going to get these done. These are also a type of cherry tomato, and I don't know what they are, y'all, but they grow bigger than a typical cherry tomato, and they're beautiful inside. Isn't that pretty? So I'm going to actually quarter those. I only have a few of those, and I will bring you back. The next thing I'm going to do is I am going to peel and slice the cucumbers. It does say remove seeds, so I'm assuming that they think you have ginormous cucumbers, which I might. But I'm gonna use the smaller, more flavorful, tender cucumbers, because the ones that get really big and seedy, you can actually have them, scoop the seeds out, put your tomato salad, yeah. Well, you could put tomato salad in it. Egg salad, tuna salad, chicken salad. It makes a great salad boat. So that's probably how I will use those. So I'm gonna get busy. I will bring you back. Just ignore the stuff on my shirt, y'all. Didn't even notice that until right now. I'll bring you back when I have the chopping done, and we'll make the dressing, which is also quite unique and utilizes something out of my garden. Stay tuned. Super simple. I have about 2 cups of tomatoes and about 6 cups of cucumbers, give or take. So you can do 50-50. You can divide it however you want. That's just how I decided to do it. And I think that's one of the nice freedoms of making your own salad. Now, in a separate bowl, we are going to make the dressing. So it says 6 tablespoons of olive oil, 1/4 cup of lemon juice, 2 tablespoons chopped fresh mint, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Let me grab a spatula, because you know I can't have everything. All right, y'all, you can measure it or you can eyeball it. 3, 4, 5, 6-ish. Usually in my videos, y'all, I'm like measuring carefully. For this video, I think anything goes. Now I'm going to use pink Himalayan salt, and this will need salt. What did I say? 1/2 teaspoon. So let's just put that in there. I do think pink Himalayan salt is saltier. It seems to be to me. But with all those veg, I think it's going to need some salt. So let me give that a little stir. So similar to an oil and vinegar. And now, you know, I harvested some fresh mint. Oops. And a pea pod. And let me bring them a little closer here. Not that y'all don't know. But if you don't grow fresh mint, pardon my hand, you can certainly buy it. Even Walmart sells fresh mint. It's usually in the vegetable section in little containers. I will tell you that all of those seem to be so pricey. It's ridiculous. But I use the mint also in the laying boxes for my girls, in addition to lavender. Not for a smell control, but because supposedly it helps them relax. So we believe that. So I'm just gonna wad this up, and you know what, let me use the big knife. I'm gonna mince it very finely. You really don't want a big mouthful of mint, y'all, because it can be a little overpowering. So I'm just gonna dice it up finely, really finely. And it said 2 tablespoons. That's about what I picked. If you don't like mint, you could leave it out. But I will tell you all, it does make for a very refreshing salad. So this is the waste. We'll put that in the compost bin. I'm going to give this a really good stir, and then let's give it a taste. That is delicious, y'all. This is going to be a very light salad. Wow, do I ever make messes, don't I? Not super heavy on the dressing, but enough to add flavor. Now, the actual recipe is a little bit confusing in my opinion. It says marinate 30 minutes or chill 3 to 4 hours. And I'm like, Okay, if you're chilling it, it's still gonna marinate. So I'm not sure what that means. But y'all, the mint flavor, the salt, everything will become more pronounced. Oops. As you flip it all over the place. My goodness. One for the chickens. Where's my, okay, we'll just use the dish towel. Wow, that was a big mess. Not sure how I did that. Okay, let's get a new tasting utensil. And I'm just gonna give this a taste with a tomato and a piece of cucumber, even though it's not marinated yet. Whoa. Perfect amount of dressing. And again, I ended up with 8 cups. Those tomatoes are so sweet. Not overly salty, which was one of my concerns. So I have a lot of good eating for the next few days. I'm gonna put the lid, put the lid on it, clean up everything I flung, and then we're gonna make a recipe utilizing cabbage. It is a baked recipe. Of course I'm baking on the hottest day of the year. Of course. Y'all, it's supposed to be 95 today. I can't remember if I said that. So our heat index will be well over 100 with the high humidity. So I'm gonna clean this up. I'm gonna make my chickens a little treat and get that in the freezer for later this afternoon. And then we are going to make Miss Gay from over at Apron Strings cabbage casserole from my homegrown cabbages. I hope you'll stay tuned. Y'all, this recipe that Miss Gay shared is absolutely phenomenal. So, you know, you get your cabbage, excuse my squeaking voice, and, you know, we can make slaws, we can make sauerkraut, but maybe you are tired of slaw, or maybe you just want to try something different. I personally love cabbage. Grew up eating what we called fried cabbage, which was sort of a cabbage fried in bacon grease. So my cabbage heads are fairly small. This is the smallest. This is the largest, but guys, I grew these myself. So she actually used a big pan, like a 15 by something, or you could use a 13 by 9. I am going to use 2 smaller pans. This is a 9 by 9, this is an 8 by 8, because my refrigerator is like playing Jenga. So yeah, that doesn't work. And I want to ask y'all a question, because this may have just been a my family thing. Do y'all eat the core of the cabbage? When I was a kid growing up, my sister and I fought over who got the core. It is just deliciously cabbage flavored, so I'll be saving those for sure to eat. All right, guys, let me see if I can tip you. Here we go. So what she did is she just, and these have been well washed. If I see anything like a blemish, I will just remove that. But she took her cabbage and she just sliced it nice and thinly, kind of like you would for a slaw. After you cut it in half, of course, take off the outer leaves, core it, do all the things. So what the aim is to fill up fairly full these 2 pans, because I do want to use my cabbage up. Guys, I have a very small refrigerator for it's the configuration of my kitchen and an overhead cabinet. I don't have a normal size refrigerator, so it's always a challenge during harvest season to store things that need refrigerated. And I have to tell you, I'm at max capacity because I've got a lot of preserving I need to do. So for me, that was the smallest cabbage. I think I'll go for the big cabbage, and maybe we'll have 1 left over. I did spray my pan. If I didn't say that, y'all, I'm sorry. I'm doing too many things at once. And my oven is preheating. She cooked hers at 350. I know my new range. I'm turning it back 25 degrees because I just seem to have a problem with things overcooking. And yep, I know it's a hot day to have the oven going, but sometimes that's the day you have to film, and so you just go for it. So I'm going to continue chopping this up, and you see how I'm doing it here. And then I'm going to work on chopping up an onion and layering it quite thickly over the top of this cabbage. Now you can use a yellow onion, you could use a white onion. That's just my oven, guys, saying I'm ready. I actually have a giant Vidalia that I am going to use. That is not homegrown. I did buy that from Piper's Orchard, a local orchard here. So, you know, sometimes things you don't grow, you can source locally and help support, you know, local farmers, which I think is a great thing to do. Just about got this second cabbage cut, and I think because mine were small, I am going to use the 2, and I think that's a gracious plenty. Ooh, I might have left a little too much core on that, but we'll eat that. Chickens, get away. I'm gonna eat it. So, just spreading it out. Some of the tougher pieces I will eat raw because I love that. This is gonna be so good, y'all. So good. I left a lot of the core in. Oops. So drop me a comment below. Do y'all like raw cabbage, or is it just a me thing? Because I sure love it. All right, so this is kind of how my dish is looking. I'm gonna work on the onion. I'll bring you back in a few minutes, and we're gonna make a delicious sauce and topping for our casserole. Stay tuned. All right, so I have my onion on top of my cabbage, and what Miss Gay did next, and y'all know Miss Gay's a good cooker, is she put a little bit of onion powder as well as a little bit of garlic powder. And I like the granulated onion, granulated garlic. I just like the flavor better. I've got some lumps in here. So I'm gonna go pretty light on the onion powder. Probably about a teaspoon on each is what I'm gonna say I'm doing. So a total of 2 teaspoons. She didn't measure that part. Oops. And then garlic powder. Y'all know I love garlic. So this is about a tablespoon. And I'm going to do about that much on each. Can y'all tell I'm trying not to dirty a bunch of dishes? I'm doing the Kym Clark School of Estimating. But you know what, y'all, it all turns out good. Now, even though that's setting on top, when we make our goop here in a moment, our sauce, that's not gonna matter. I am gonna put some freshly ground black pepper, not too much, but over the top just to add a little bit of flavor. And the ingredients that we are going to be using do have salt in it. So I don't want to go crazy with the salt. So again, I'm going to use, I'm not a super heavy salter. Okay, didn't mean to let that fall out. I'm going to use about half of a teaspoon per, simply because we're going to be using some canned soup and some crackers for our topping. So let's make our sauce super easy, guys. What you will need is a cup of mayonnaise. I am using the Great Value brand. Use whatever you like, whether it's Duke's or Hellman's. I'm just cheap. So this is what I happen to have on hand, and thankfully I have another jar in the pantry because you need mayonnaise for your tomato sandwiches, and I've been eating plenty of those, y'all. I'm excited about what my lunch is going to be like, which is really my dinner meal. All right, ooh, slickery. So let's do the cup of mayonnaise. And then we also want to add 1 can of cream of chicken soup. I do happen to have the Campbell's brand. It was probably on sale. So let's get that down in there. And I believe that's all that the sauce is, but let me double check my recipe. By the way, yeah, if you aren't subscribed to Miss Gay over at Apron Strings, y'all, go do it. Go do it. She is such an amazing cook, amazing seamstress, beautiful gardener, great garden preserving queen. Miss Gay and I have been friends for quite some time, and I just love her dearly. She lost her husband recently, and I'm sure she would appreciate your views because she had to kind of back off a little bit on her YouTube to take care of some things. So go on over there. Tell her Kym from the Wellness Homesteader sent you. And I talk to Miss Gay usually a few times a week. And well, I don't want to leave any of that behind, guys. That's the good stuff. What you need to do is just kind of spread this evenly, because of course it's going to melt down in to all that cabbage and onion goodness. And then we have one final step. So I might not have mentioned that this isn't necessarily low-cal, but y'all, you got to live life, you know. Sometimes you want some really good goodness. I can see this being a really good casserole. I bet you could prep it ahead, stick it in the fridge, and then bake it off when your company comes. I think this would be a good Thanksgiving dish. And casseroles, guys, really save you a lot of time, and they make great leftovers. So Miss Gay does so many casseroles, and I was never big on casseroles until I started watching her channel and met Miss Gay. All right. So now, I'm just going to use the same bowl, y'all, because she did and said it was okay. So you melt a stick of butter. Yep, I said a stick. And you crush up 1 sleeve of Ritz crackers. Now, I am using Great Value Buttery Rounds. I am not sponsored by Walmart, but Walmart, if you'd like to sponsor me, hit me up. And I was able to crush mine in the sleeve so I didn't have to dirty a baggie. So you just want to stir that up. This is going to make a delicious topping. Now, the other thing Miss Gay recommends is a cup of cheese. And she said swish or Parmesan. Y'all, gonna admit to you, I don't have fresh Swiss or fresh Parm. I'm also not a huge fan of cheese with cabbage, so I'm going to change it up a bit. Let me grab what I'm after here. Where are you? Y'all, my fridge is like playing Jenga. It really, really is. There it is. Clear in the back. All right. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna use some Parmesan cheese out of the jar. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and use the rest of that. Put that on my list. I think this will give it some tang and some flavor without the cheese that I don't like, but y'all, you do you, and if you really like the flavor of cheese, she did say the Swiss really gives it a good flavor. So just kind of distribute that over the top. I'm trying to divide it evenly between the 2 dishes here. So it's not going to cover 100% of the topping, but I still think it'll be all right. And this is going to be browned and bubbly and delicious. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Miss Gay, if you're watching. Oops. It's all gone a little bit to the floor. That's why I always wait to mop until after I'm done filming. All right, into the oven we go for about 30 minutes until it's browned at 350. I will bring you back. Hopefully the kitchen will be a little bit cleaner. I'm gonna have to deal with tomatoes, do a little canning today. I've just got to do all the things. So I will see you all very soon with a cooked dish. I don't know about you all, but I'm starving, guys. So our beautiful casseroles are out of the oven. I have cut myself a serving and can't wait to try this, but it's screaming hot. Pardon me, y'all. That is so good. It's creamy, but the cabbage still has some crunch to it. I suppose that might be because I cooked it at a lower temperature, but I like it that way. Not too salty. And I love the topping. Who doesn't love buttery crackers, right? But y'all, we're not finished. And I hope you will stay tuned for part 2, which I'm gonna be doing tomorrow, where we're gonna talk about what to do with all the zucchini. And y'all, this is just a small portion of what I have. But I have some unique recipes, one of which is a French recipe, but it's a simple cold dish. And then I also have a baked dish I cannot wait to try. So I hope you'll tune in on Thursday and watch part 2 of this video. And if you haven't already, do me a big favor, go ahead and smash that like button, drop me a comment below. Do you like cooked cabbage? Are you gonna try either of these recipes? I'm gonna get some salad to go with. I'm gonna take the 30-minute marinade. It doesn't need to chill 3 or 4 hours because it just looks delicious and it's quite refreshing on this 95-degree high humidity day here in Ohio. I will see you all in a couple days, but until then, be healthy, be well, be blessed, take care.